All right, it's the 1st of September 2023 and this is a new month. I should say you're most welcome to the KOKOLIRIKO live show, and today happens to also be a Friday, meaning the weekend is just around the corner. But from wherever you are watching the show from, I want to welcome you in a special way on board the show. This is the KOKOLIRIKO live show with me, Farish Majid. A lot is happening and the region is still witnessing a lot. Yesterday we did have the final games for the nursing and institutional schools, and the MDD is still continuing. And yesterday we also did have a rango that is in Mastura at Muhibin Mosque, and all that we shall be unfolding them on the show as well. And today I'm privileged to be joined by one of our colleagues. He has, I know this is not a new face to you, and he's not a new face just to all of you who have been watching the show. For those of you who follow the show, I know he must not be a new face to you, but this is Frederick Damadri. And Frederick Damadri, first of all, I want to congratulate you upon winning that award. What does this award mean to you before we head to the show? But first of all, let me welcome you aboard the show. You're most welcome.
Thank you very much. Actually, Farish, if you had not welcomed me, I would not talk, because it is not easy for you to start really talking when somebody has not welcomed you. You will not know in what mood he or she is. But also, I want to appreciate the viewers who have been there for us, okay? Yes. Because why we are here is because of them. And for quite 2 days, I've not been present here, and I hope you have been doing it well. And I was following it strictly from Kampala, where we went for the awards and so on. So it was so amazing that really you kept it to that point of appreciating you. I really appreciate you so much for that. And also I want to say the dear viewers who have been following it, that has been so good. And I think through our YouTube channels, if we are able to follow and really comment, commenting is very, very important, other than really calling us after the show that, hey, I wanted to comment about this and so on and so on. It doesn't make sense. Okay. Because other people also want to see what you really had in your brain that you wanted to share with them, and also all those things. If we combine them together, it brings a lot of good energy in the show. Okay, yes. So maybe talking about the awards, this is not my first time of winning a National Journalism Award. Last year, remember, I won under the Business, Finance and Economic category, and a category that has been all there for around 80 years, won by people who were in TV, people who were in newspapers and so on. But by the time I won it, I was still with the radio. It was a record that I broke, and also this year I broke another record by being the only journalist from Westnile region to have won a National Journalism Award this year. And also looking at the category, that is energy, minerals, and also the petroleum sector, that has been dominated by the television groups and so on. By then, the story I did found me as a freelancer with radio parties, and also that's where I won the award from. But also I had to credit them where the story was broadcasted. That is where I had to credit them. And also I want to tell you that anyone can win an award. By the way,
we are now waiting for the award of Westnile for Westnile Television. We are looking forward to that, and I believe
it's okay. On Monday, I'll be grateful to unveil that award.
I think working with you is going to be quite interesting, and at one point maybe I will also be able to be inspired to win one of these awards. But what do these awards mean before we head into the discussion in detail? This award here, what does it mean, and what impact could your story maybe have on the masses? Because I believe these awards do not come like that, and I know the rate of submissions to these awards here, and for you to be even selected to be among the people who are nominated for these awards, I believe sometimes it comes with a lot. So what do you think your story could have impacted on the masses? Because I believe for your story to be nominated or be awarded, it must be having an impact on the masses in general. So what do you think your story was touching all about?
Okay, my story really focused on the issues to do with the mining. I was looking at since the pronouncement of the president that we have so much minerals that have been untapped in this country. Thereafter, I thought of what could be happening after this pronouncement. Where are the companies that are going to venture into mining? Because really, ideally, Uganda has only one company that is fully registered for mining, just as a country, for like an official company for the country that will be really venturing into this. But we have other private companies that have gotten licenses to venture into mining and so on, exploration. So that was my area of focus. One of the issues that I thought about was really what is the impact of this mining, given that it has been solely given to the private sector. We are all aware that any company in this country, once registered, is able to do any business.
Okay.
You see? So that is one thing I was looking at. And my story focused on gold mining exploration that is around along the borders of Terego and Yumbe districts. That is found in Yinga and also the other side in Yumbe district. So much of the issues in the field were done that side. I went to see that mining area and realized that really people were having a lot of conflicts with the company, but there was no attention paid by the leaders to rescue these people. Okay. Looking at the issues to do with land, cases of land grabbing that were really escalating, but also, you know, the land tenure system that we have in this country. Specifically for Westnile region, we have communal land system, ownership and so on. So ideally, by law, if you are to utilize somebody's land, you're supposed to seek permission from the clan leaders, because most of the lands are unregistered, but it is the clan that knows that this border is ours and so on. So people get land from their ancestors and also they use it communally. There's nothing like, I have this land, it is mine and so on. So this company decided to go and have a document signed between one of the landlords, and also they did not really consider the aspect of the land being a communal land. So that brought a lot of issues, but also the way they come in, they actually came in was not really right. Just like a way of intimidating the locals, they came and told the LC1 that they were sent from the president's office. That is the statement that they delivered to the LC1, okay. And nobody should sabotage this kind of development.
All right,
so that really affected a lot of things.
Okay.
When I started following this and looking at the laws that we have, I realized that even the one who signed the MOU with the company was cheated. Okay. He was supposed to get 5% of the royalty sharing, but the company signed with him 2%.
Okay.
And also looking at the issues to do with the environmental protection, there were no measures put in place, but also looking at the issues of the welfare of the workers and their health. Okay, health is a priority in this kind of events, like mining, talk about constructions, and also quarrying, these kind of things. It is paramount, because really the health of the worker is something to really focus so much into, because there are a lot of diseases that will be contracted, but also talk about the issues of suffocation under these kind of operations. That was one area that I really focused so much into, and also following now this company up to where it is said to be. That's where my area of investigation was so much into. Up to Kampala, where they said they were located, there was nothing like an office. So that was why I had to come up with this headline, Briefcase Company really infiltrating the mining industry of Uganda. So right. That was the story.
Yes, we are living in a country whereby most people do not actually understand their rights, and some of these people can be cheated. You talked about some of the people who are cheated in that deal there. So I think today, to address some of such scenarios, Uganda Law Societies and partners are today having a pro bono day, and this is going to be at Office of the Prime Minister grounds. What do we mean by pro bono? This is a legal term meaning free legal services to the masses. So I think today Uganda Law Society and the partners are having this event taking place at the Office of the Prime Minister grounds. This is in Arua City, and it's not only taking place in Arua City, I believe, it's also taking place in the other districts that have the legal aid clinics. So for people who need legal advice, you can be able to rush out to these places here and have a chance to interact with the lawyers free of charge, because you know legal costs have always been too much for the masses to afford. Sometimes the people could be seeking legal advice, but they cannot afford just because of the charges these lawyers put out. So I think today they are having free legal services, and I want to appeal to the masses. If you have something that maybe you have been needing advice for, you can rush out. And you know some of the issues whereby people do not know their rights. This is common in inheritance, where some people are cheated when it comes to inheriting properties of the deceased. So I think that is where the issue is coming, and this is where the people are going to be focusing mostly in terms of addressing some of the issues, whereby they're going to be analyzing to the masses and educating the masses. So I think let the masses embrace it. I think that is where we need to bring you on board. Why should we be having pro bono services? Because, Frederick, I want to make that an understanding. These pro bono services are going to be free of charge to the masses. You know, legal service is still quite expensive for most people to afford, and people do not have legal knowledge. This is a society where people do not have legal knowledge, and sometimes they are taken advantage of. So do you think this will be, at the end of the day, beneficial to the masses here who need legal advice?
First of all, it's not a must that everyone should have the legal knowledge. What we need to know is, are we really living in a world where we all know our rights? Do we know our obligations? Do we know our responsibilities? That's one thing. Two, where do you think you can go and seek for help? Your neighbor can be an advisor to you, but also what is that kind of advice the person is delivering to you? When we talk about the pro bono day, I'm not surprised that this has not yielded any fruit even here in this region. For quite a long time we have been having this kind of days. The number of cases that have been talked about, people come. I've attended like 5 times. Yes, 5 times, and I've seen people going back home and maybe unsatisfied because of the kind of services that are rendered. The day is only one day, and if you look at activities that are tagged within this day, actually they are supposed to be 1 week before this kind of day comes. They are supposed to be services rendered, but you see these legal officers come on the D-Day, that is the 1st of September every year. They come on that day, and instead of really using this 1 week to maybe distribute themselves and move to maybe some of these districts, because in most of the districts in this region we don't have courts operating. You see that, so it is always hard to really for people to take these issues of maybe going to court, going to police seriously. That's why you see cases of murder, mob actions and so on increasing, because people want to finish everything there, because sometimes they say justice delayed is something that brings people's trust in the justice really dwindling. That's one thing. And also, if you look at the activities that are centered around this, there's supposed to be sensitization of the masses about the legal procedures. There are supposed to be issues to do with how you are to really report a case, but also follow up a case, and also the issues to do with the bail is one key thing that has continued to be. And we have seen some people calling themselves as commission agents, and at the court they pretend to be lawyers, and also they want to tap people's money, that I'm going to bail your brother out. And also even at police we have masqueraders who are doing that. And also this has been really one thing that has made people to get annoyed and really shun some of these kind of activities. So if we talk about the pro bono day, it is really there to focus on issues around petty offenses and also capital offenses that have not been really listened to for long. And also we have seen a lot of issues to do with the missing files. People come with those kind of complaints, but we expect on such a day this be handled. Frederick. But because it is shortened to be one day, you realize that most of these areas are not tackled. They just record these settlements. Following up with them becomes like a routine work that has been there. So there's not like a case is resolved on this day. So it is always something that is doubtful. That's why I said I'm not surprised, and it will continue to be if as long as we only focus on that last day to say that we are rendering pro bono services to the masses. Yes.
So yes, Frederick, usually the lawyers say ignorance of the law is not defense. But you know, we are living in a country whereby now so many people are in prisons, and most of them are actually on cases that whereby they do not understand the law. So do you think if the masses were to be able to be educated about the law, like for instance having this pro bono day just like for a long period of time, whereby the people would actually seek legal knowledge, do you think this would be able to provide justice to these people who may be in need of it?
I admit with you over that submission. First of all, I want to say ignorance of the law has no defense. That statement can be there theoretically, but really, if we look at the practical bit, who is supposed to really render the service to enlighten this person on the legal procedures and also the issues that are to do with court? First of all, we have seen so many laws coming up in this country, so many amendments. People only know what they are being given. You understand? Mm-hmm. So some of these laws have not been really popularized, I will say, and it is quite challenging. And it makes people really look ignorant, yet they are ready to learn some of these things. So who is that to disseminate some of this information? One, we have police, which is there. We have the community liaisons office, which is always there at the regional or the sub-counties and so on. They are there. We have not seen any engagement organized by them. So what is the role of that department? It is supposed to be there to engage the community on some of these issues, like maybe when a new law comes out, we expected even the members of parliament to come down to really sensitize the masses about these new laws and really give them that concrete advice on how they could really handle themselves. Talk about the proposals. I would say the proposal about the recent law that parliament passed, the narcotic drugs. Mm-hmm. You see that? Nobody has guided people about this. We have seen people protesting all over the country.
The Mairungi sellers and the chewers are now protesting.
So people are protesting because they don't know what is the content of the law.
Yes.
Because the headline is very clear. Even now the cat sellers are going to be penalized. So what does that mean? People do not have the information. Mm-hmm. So if people do not have the information, don't blame them. And the last point, you will arrest somebody and you say he is ignorant and you want to really sentence him or her, will be asking that question in the last minute and ask you how far you have gone with dissemination of this law. Because really, if you have a law and you have not disseminated it, it's not my problem as maybe the member of the community.
In other words, what you're saying is let the government come up clearly and explain to the masses what this law is all about, because it looks like the people do not understand what this law is all about.
When we talk about government, people think it is Kampala.
Yes.
I want to just talk about the police and also the politicians that we have. Okay, some of these laws are enacted within the councils that we have here. The bylaws, you have the ordinances, okay? So these are just within our reach. Mm-hmm. Why should we talk about government as a general thing? Let's talk about these sectors that are really responsible for this. We have the Community Development Office that has a lot of mandate to really talk to the public. But also we have, just like I said, the Community Liaisons Office of the police. Every time you see these people present when maybe a conflict has risen up and also maybe they are going to arrest people over land and so on. That's the time you see these people coming and start talking to the people when they are already solving a problem. We expected them to organize engagements, community barazas, dialogues and so on, so that people are able to ask questions regarding the new laws that have come up, but also looking at the issues around how they should do away with, in case you are caught up by the law, how do you respond? We have seen people resisting sanctions, we have seen people resisting arrest warrants. Even if police is coming, you see somebody coming up with a panga, threatening the police and so on. Those are the things we have seen. And also at the GBV sector, you have seen many times that when the woman or the man reports a case against the other partner, you realize that one of the partners who is supposed to be arrested says, okay, now that you want to manage my family, I leave it in your hands, and the person goes away. So those are the things that come because people are not guided, people are not given the direction on how they should respect the law and also really work within the law to see that crimes are reduced. And also there are some cases that have really stayed for long. There's need to speed up their processes. Talk about the issues to do with land. Somebody has a case to do with land and really wanted to develop his land, and this becomes a challenging thing. 5 years, 20 years, the case has not been ruled. This family is suffering because the case is still there, and so on. You have injunctions that are still there that have not been removed. So these are things really we need to guide the public about. The relevant authorities, let's not talk about government in general, but government has done its part by really providing the leeway of having all these sectors, the legal sector, the what, and so on, the state prostators, talk about police, talk about even in civil service. We have also the political wing where politicians now talk most. So as they are talking, they needed to move with some of these officers who are not really there to bite the community, but also really disseminate the rightful messages to the people. That is one way I think we could popularize this news. Yes.
To 8 a.m. and we are still going on the KOKOLIRIKO live show. This is Farish Majid, and we have a lot of issues, just like Frederick has been analyzing the benefit of this pro bono day. If we are to be able to take advantage of it, maybe at the end of the day it will be beneficial to us. Remember, this is a region where we are still faced with a number of land wrangle cases, and this is quite common in the Alur sub-region, whereby we are witnessing so many people being murdered. We are seeing property being destroyed, and all this has been attributed to land wrangles. So I think for those people who do not have the legal knowledge, you can take advantage of this day. And just like me, for me after the show, Frederick, I'm rushing there. I want to have an understanding of the law, because if you do not know the law, you know, sometimes you can never have a defense of saying I did not know. So I think I need to go out there and also have an understanding of what the law is all about. What laws are so many about?
Yes, for me, I'm even warming to go there. Yes. I want to understand what are those cases that people are complaining about. What is the case backlog that we have now, and what is also the challenge of the judiciary in handling some of these cases. But also we need to understand that people travel for these cases from long distances. Is there need for maybe decentralizing the High Court, or maybe the other chambers? We talk about the grade 1 magistrate court and so on. Some of these cases are petty cases.
Yes.
Talk about littering, talk about theft of chicken, wild, and so on. Some of this could be sentenced to community services, but because somebody is really there yearning to say, let him still remain. You see, that is the belief that we have. That why my son is still suffering is because so-and-so has money and has paid the lawyers, and that's why he has been remanded for quite a long time. So that sends a message that really we need to do a lot in really doing the rightful things. Looking at people who are said to be the perpetrators or maybe the offenders, really less minimize on the way we behave in communities, because most of these cases that move there are things to do with the land, things to do with the rape, things to do with the defilement, and so on and so on. So if you don't have trust and if you don't respect your neighbors, you will always have conflicts with the law. Okay, you will always have conflicts with the law. And also let's also utilize the different times that are given by the media houses, and also the dialogues that sometimes people organize, the leaders organize. Even if it is a health talk, you may not know that they will hint into some of these issues of the law. Talk about the issues to do with the beautification of your compound. In towns, in these regional cities, if your compound is dirty, they can arrest you and put you in jail for 1 year. Okay. You see that?
Yes.
6 million you are supposed to pay. If you litter, you are supposed to be sentenced for 6 months. So these are things people do not know. So this is the only opportunity you'll be able to learn about some of these things. Let's embrace it. Much as they have given us limited time, only one day, let's go there and learn about some of these legal issues. Let's go there and also be messengers to our communities and also empower them with some of these legal ideas. You may not have the quotation of maybe which law where it is enshrined, but what is very important is whether what I'm going to do is really within the law. That is
that
one
is
thing
it.
we need to
That
follow.
is it with the World Pro Bono Day. It's a Rural City Pro Bono Day, and we are going to be offering free legal services. And to the masses, please, let's utilize the advantage of this day. Let us rush these places and have a chance to speak to the lawyers who will be there. We shall be having the advocates who will be gathering at the office of the Prime Minister grounds to offer free legal services. So I think let's embrace this, let's utilize the day. And to the lawyers, please, let's not wait for the Pro Bono Day to offer free legal services to the people, because at the end of the day, if some people are not going to get the justice, they will really go through a lot. And we know how quite expensive legal services have been. So I think with that, we are going to be taking a short break, and when we return back, we shall be picking up the discussion from there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the KOKOLIRIKO Live Show with me, Farish Majid, and Frederick Dramadri. We are back shortly.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes Inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
From that short commercial break, and we are back with the KOKOLIRIKO Live Show on Westnile Television. In case you're just joining us right now, you are most welcome aboard. This is the KOKOLIRIKO Live Show that runs every Mondays to Fridays, and today I happen to be Farish Majid hosting, and Frederick Dramadri as well is on the is on set, and we have been discussing a lot of issues that touch you both indirectly or directly. We did talk about the World Pro Bono Day in Arua City, which is taking place, whereby the lawyers are going to be offering legal services, and we also talked a number of issues. Now I want to bring our attention to the issue concerning insecurity in general among the worship centers. This is quite common, and it's becoming a scenario that we are witnessing not only within Arua City but in other places. We did see this in Nebi, and now it's returning to Arua City, whereby yesterday there was some election that was supposed to take place. I believe the criteria were not followed, but I think security intervened. So I think this was at Muhibbin Mosque. Muhibbin Mosque is the Mastura Mosque. For people who live in Arua, you must be knowing this. So I think there was an election that was supposed to be taking place there. And now there is also conflict that is rising in Ochiba Catholic. So I think that issue is also growing up. And this is because of land wrangles between the community and the churches. So I think there's something that is going up there. Frederick, but before we head into the discussions, today we are celebrating the Right Reverend Frederick Drandua, not you actually, that is Frederick Drandua, yes, the late bishop of this diocese. What do you remember about this man? Because today is the day he passed on 1st of September, and today we are actually remembering him. What do you make about this day before we head into the discussion?
If you talk about Frederick Drandua, I think many people always call me by that names because
I was actually almost called you that same name also.
They know I'm a Christian, and also I was baptized by him. Okay? That's one thing I live to remember, and for the rest of my life, that's where I will really remember him. But also looking at his contribution in the Catholic Church and also uniting Catholics with the other religions, talk about the Muslims and so on. Really, he did a lot in talking about peace, but also making sure that developments take place in this region. We will talk about the institutions that he has established, the schools, the churches that multiplied under his regime, but also talk about schools and the health facilities. Okay, we will talk about the orphanage centers that he has established in this region. Maybe we will talk about the orphanage center at Diofe, but also the health centers, the Diofe Health Center 3, and also talk about orphanage health facility, which is also there. We will talk about other parishes that he has created. So there's a lot that he has touched the lives of every person in this region. There are so many orphans that he raised through that orphanage center, and also so many people were employed in this cathedral that he was really leading. Most importantly, we'll talk about the issues of advocating for infrastructure improvements in this region, talk about the national grid that has been a song for years, and he has been in that campaign also. Beyond him being a bishop, there are a lot of other things that he has done, talking about securing land for the institutions that are under the church and so on. But also in his peace making missions, he has done a lot in that. That's why he died with that slogan, "May they be one." May they be one means may people be united and remain the same people, instead of really talking about my religion is this, maybe my tribe is this, and so on. That kind of segregation was not there under this man's leadership. So it is quite a memorable day that we Christians and also the people in this region live to remember him of those kind of achievements, and also may his soul rest in eternal peace. That's what I could briefly wrap up about him.
All right.
But also as Catholics, there are masses that have been organized to dedicate to his life, and right now all the Catholic churches and Anglican are moving to the various churches and worship centers to pray for his soul. Okay, that is what is taking place now. That's what I can just say.
We pray for his soul to continue resting in eternal peace, and that is how far the issue of the Right Reverend Frederick Drandua is concerned. I don't know why I'm so much possessed by your name, Frederick Dramadri, but we pray that he rests in eternal peace. And to the Christians, the masses are going on in the different churches, so I think we should be able to embrace this because he hailed from here, and this is to the people of this region. Let's actually emulate his character, some of the attributes that he had. If we are to be able to also prosper, maybe we shall be able to be like him, because we need more people like him. We need change. We need development in this region. So I think let's emulate his character, the good character of him. That is why we shall always miss him. We as people of Westnile sub-region, we pray that he rests in eternal peace, because we remember his contribution. Just like Frederick lamented, he had enormous contributions to this region when it comes to development. That is why we shall always be praying to him. And now, Frederick, drawing back our attention to the issues of scandals in this region among the worship centers, it is really becoming a big concern, where we are seeing an insecurity that is growing up, that is from the worship centers. Talking about the worship centers, this is in the mosques and the churches. It's really becoming a great issue that I think which also needs a proper solution or intervention before these issues run out of hand. And yesterday we were at Muhibin Mosque, whereby there was a scandal that I believe was almost taking place there. This is because this is now arising. I do not have any proof, but what people are saying is all about, it's coming because some of the people want to organize forced election. And remember, this mosque has been registered as a private property by one of the sheikhs and is registered in the name of Muhibin Property Limited. So I think that is how far the property has been registered. And now Uganda Muslim Spring Council, through the district card, is saying this property should be the property of Uganda Muslim Spring Council. And what they're saying is that they will do everything possible to see to it that this mosque is not registered as a private company, because one of the sheikhs there, Sheikh Shaki, has also shown that this mosque has been registered as a private property, and it will continue to remain a private property. So I think we need to intervene in this matter before it runs out of hand. And remember, tomorrow, these people are actually supposed to be having a fundraising drive. This is supposed to be, it is supposed to be at the mosque that is in Mastura. This is to raise money for the construction project. So I think we need to ensure the security of the people who will be able to be there tomorrow in case this thing is going to be taking place. So I think let's ensure that the security of the people is guaranteed, and the security officials, actually Uganda Police has already cleared this. They have already, from the information I got, the fundraising has been cleared, but now I'm meant to understand why is it that because these worship centers are supposed to be playing a role of educating and sensitizing the masses and uniting actually the people to come together, but now we are seeing some of these worship centers are now becoming places of division. Because yesterday I did understand some youths they wanted to head to Muhibin Mosque to forcefully organize these elections, but the youth that side also organized themselves, so I think that thing did not take place. It couldn't go like the way it was planned. But tomorrow now we were having the fundraising drive. I want to know if the lives of the people who will be able to be going there is secure. And now, Frederick, I want to bring you on board. I want to understand, why is it that insecurity among the worship centers is becoming a great concern? What do you think is happening? Could it be that because one of the issues that has been identified there is the issue of the mosque, that the mosque on that mosque is bringing money, and that is why some people people are drawing interest in that mosque, and why people are registering them as like that. We have so many cases and allegations. So I think we need to have an understanding of what is happening, what really is happening in the worship centers. This is not only happening at Muhibin Mosque. We're also seeing the same case happening at Ochiba Church now, whereby the community there, who are in most cases the Muslims and the Christians, are having some disagreements there, and if not timely intervened, so I believe it will also erupt into another thing which we do not want to see in this region, because we do not want to see bloodshed as a result of land wrangles. First of all, let me bring you back. What is happening within the religious institutions? What is really happening among these places? What do you think is bringing about all these issues that are rising among the worship centers?
Okay, first, let me, before I move to answer that question directly, first of all, we have a problem from the legal perspective. I want to say we have a problem with our laws. The laws have given so much mandate into people to establish their own churches, their own religion, and so on. So it is like an open check where you are able to write any amount you want. You see that? So really, institutions like the churches, okay, I will say religious institutions, talk about cultural institutions, talk about the political parties that I've ever stressed about. Really, there should be a limit about this kind of institutions. Registering them, really, somebody coming with the worship center wants to register, is having another religion, and also these issues of political parties that I talked about some time back. It should not be an open check. If you want this number of religions in this country so that we're able to control them, let it be a point blank, and it should be really forced to look at.
But the laws clearly stipulate freedom of worship, whereby you.
That's where the problem is. That's where the problem is. And I was saying, that is the problem with the law. We have open check where people are able to register, and even today, if I want to go and register a religion of my own, I can go there and register. So what is the implication on the masses? one of the things is people are using this kind of open laws to get a lot of money from people. Why people are starting now to privatize religion and owning them as their own entities and saying this is limited. You see that? Limited by sales, limited by this and so on. Those things, they are coming because people are seeing money coming in that thing. Because religion, in ideal, there's some part where people give offertory. The offertory is free of charge. You give free at free will and there's no tax on it. So those are the things. If we now want to really limit some of these kind of things, let's start taxing them, because people are collecting money, and at the end of the day, they bring a lot of divisionism in this kind of things.
The followers.
So if we talk about that mosque, it's not the first time we are seeing those kind of scandals coming. I remember covering a story when I was still at Patches in April about the same mosque, where there were conflicts over the mosque, that people ate 30 million and it has not been accounted for. There were issues around
Frederick,
that.
Let me first cut you short. Who are those people who have put the mosque there, if I may be able to ask? I'm meant to understand who are those people who really put up the mosque there. Could it be that these people did not follow the right procedures? Could it be that they did not have a right deal? What is really happening? What is really bringing all about this conflict in your own understanding?
I don't have a right understanding of who has the mosque there, but what I know is it was the mosque leadership that offered the land, because somebody cannot come and put such a thing on your roof without you being aware. So that is one source of revenue they have been tapping money from. But now the conflict is escalating because we have factions in Muslim. You must understand that Islam, there are factions. There we have the Chibuli, we have the Supreme Council.
Yes.
So that's where the root of the issue is coming from. Uganda Muslim Supreme Council wants to repossess those kind of mosques that are said to be under the Chibuli faction, and that's where the conflict is coming from. And also why some people want now to further say that this is my mosque is because maybe you may not know that this person has the land. So at some point, if we say no, it will come under Supreme Council, it will go under Chibuli, or it will remain with it, I don't understand that. So that means we'll either lose this mosque completely and the landlord says this is my land, you go away. Secondly, the issue of elections. These elections have been there dragging all the time because the Supreme Council wants to organize an election. But still, the founders of that mosque are saying no, we are not ready to have those kind of elections and being maybe honored, or maybe the person who will be presiding over comes from the Supreme Council. That has been the problem. But also, one of the problems that I have with these institutions, talk about the churches, talk about the mosques, is that people have really failed to use the means of solving, the harmonious ways of solving issues within these institutions. Talk about the issues of centering now the whole thing into police. Because religious things we believe are supposed to be handled using the biblical or the Quranical ways of doing things. We expected advisors to be coming from this kind of religious
where these religious leaders fail, I think it is timely for police to come on board and offer solutions, because these people are disagreeing. You know how far, if police does not intervene, you know how far these disagreements can actually lead to. So I think the issue of police intervening, to me, is not an issue, but I think
they have structures. They have structures.
What if the structures are failing?
The structures are failing. Those are just internal structures that are failing. You have the Supreme Council, which is up to Kampala. Okay, they have not sat together to resolve these issues. Instead of going to mobilize the youths to come and maybe riot around and make a lot of kelele noise here to attract the attention of the masses, you have these leaders. They have been there in the conflict for quite a long time before it escalated like that. So there's been no effort to maybe call upon the founders of these organizations, the faction leaders, I may say, because if it was done, I didn't expect this to come out like the way they are doing it now. But also the issues of securing land for these institutions. Most of the lands of these religious institutions are still not registered. That means they will continue to have these problems. They have been collecting these monies through offertory, through what, I don't know the other terms in the other religions. But for Catholics and talk about the Protestants, the Christians in general, they have the offertory. How do they account to the Christians about this kind of offertories, the congregation?
That is something I meant to understand.
That's one thing. They would have accounted by, first of all, securing the land of these institutions, and also seeing that the institution itself, the buildings are looking nice, because every week, if people are collecting more than 100,000, so at the end of the year, we expect some good millions and billions be collected. So these monies should have been utilized to do these kind of things, to resolve some of these conflicts, instead of giving hard times to the police to really always run and do their... I'm meant to understand that even some of the churches and the mosques are being guarded by police.
Yes, yes.
So is that the way we are going to really make sure that we utilize the forces we have? The police is there to really guide people and also enforce the law and other things, but not really to be like security guards. This is we should not personalize these institutions. These are separate institutions. Still, looking at the advisors that we have in the world, most of them come from religions. So if this is the example the religious leaders in this country are showing, it is quite absurd that we will not have advisors from that kind of perspective. We will now start using our scientists that we have in this country.
Perhaps the politicians.
Because, maybe veteran politicians who have good track records, and going to these religious leaders who have turned to be like politicians, mobilizing masses to gang around against others. You are supposed to be a unifying factor. Okay, yes. That's one thing I really wanted to stress so much about this kind of
still conflict. On the same issue at the Ochiwa Catholic Church, we are witnessing the same. It is rising. It is an issue that is growing. It is growing up, and I think the security agencies need to intervene before the issue runs out of hand. And this,
let me first interject. I told you the issue is not about security intervening. The issue is. Let the leaders sit.
But now what the leaders are saying is this issue was actually raised by Ndasam, the councillor for Dadam.
The issue of Ochiba Catholic Parish.
The area leader, the area councillor actually raised this issue during the council sitting this week. Said that the issue is becoming a very much security threat, which needs to be whereby they are calling for security intervention to solve this, because the issue is concerning land. Land wrangles whereby people are complaining about their land being taken up by the church, and the church is also complaining that land is there. So I think it is between the Muslims who are also there and some Christians who are fighting the church.
That's why I was saying I was interjecting about the issue of the security and so on. So one thing is the two religious institutions talk about the Islam and the Christianity.
Could this mean that we cannot live together now?
That is the problem we have. People are preaching against other religious institutions. That's why I was saying we need to limit some of this kind of creation of new religions and so on. Let's live by what we have now. We are all aware that this country was dominated by Muslims and Christians. So there are so many Christian churches that are also coming, other religions evolving from Christianity. So that is also another problem within the Christian faith. But also looking at the relationship between Muslims and the Christians, it has continued to be like maybe opposition and the ruling government, which is something very, very absurd, because we expected religious institutions to be the peacemakers of this country, because the politicians, by the way, politicians do not sit for long without backbiting or maybe quarreling. So that means we need to have these two heads, the Supreme Kade and also the bishops, to sit down and harmonize that. The conflict there is about the land, yes, but also the aspect of that land being more of the people who are surrounding them are the Christians. So you have the Muslims, the few who are there, they really don't enjoy staying at peace with the Christians.
But
that is the issue.
Actually live together harmoniously coexisting.
How best shall we have maybe how best should we have the Catholic churches and the Muslim mosques
Frederick,
in the same place and people live peaceful? That is one thing we want to derive at. Okay, can we have this schools being established in one place, one area, and they're operating? There's no conflict. So that is one thing I wanted the leaders to be doing. I think instead of saying, hey, police will come. Now when police comes and they realize that the conflict was ignited by the Catholics, they will arrest them. After arresting the Catholic,
and they should actually arrest them and bring them to book, because this issue of dividing people on the basis of religion. Frederick,
I'm bringing you the implication of that. After bringing these few Catholics who were there by law, caught by law to be the perpetrators of, or the engineers of this conflict, after picking them, the rest of them will say, the Muslims have started doing what? Using the police against us. Let's start this. After the arrests, you'll see another fight escalating, and it will continue to be becoming a regional thing and a national thing, a fight between Catholics and the Muslims. That's why I'm still stressing that we should not really focus so much into the issues of police coming in and so on and so on. As long as there are no fights, physical fights, as long as the leaders are still united and are able to sit down and harmonize those kind of issues, I don't have any problem with that. For you can run fast and say police come and arrest. After the arrest, the implication is very, very great. Okay, it is very break, and it is mostly negative, because these two religions, for them to sit down, it should have started with the bishops and the qadis. Okay, the qadis and the bishops, yes, let them come down and sit with the community like this, and make the Muslims come and sit together with the Christians, and we harmonize the whole thing together.
We have seen this happen recently. When we had the anti-homosexuality campaigns in Arua, we did see the Christians coming on board. The bishop was actually well represented there, and I think that is what we need. We need to coexist. We need to be as one. We should not be divided by issues of land or issues of property, issues of money. All these things are earthly. And remember, most of the religious teachings have always been telling us the issues of earthly things. Why do we continue fighting for earthly things? These are things that we are going to be living here. So I think to the religious leaders or to the religious institutions, let's embrace this issue of minding about what is happening, what will happen in the next. That we should also be in the know that these things we are fighting for will be able to remain behind here. If we die, we're not going to die with them, and we shall not be judged, because religious teachings have always been there. And to the religious leaders, why now you are making this? You are making me remember of why don't you preach what? Why don't you do what you're preaching? That song of one of the songs actually that was against this. Why don't you preach? Why don't you act what you preach? So I think that brings my attention back to that point. And insecurity in these places is really worrying. I think the security officials and the government need to offer means. Just like Frederick said, selfish interests may be driving some of these issues, and if we are not able to solve them timely, at the end of the day, they will be able to result into scenarios which will be also regrettable and that will not be good. So I think insecurity in worship centers, to me, is so alarming, and it calls for timely intervention. Maybe God should also intervene here, whereby people should be able to avoid some of these issues. People should stop fighting for earthly things. Insecurity remains a great challenge, remember. And still, in this region, we are witnessing a lot of insecurity cases, Frederick.
Maybe in the general lookout of the insecurity and also the issues of disagreements in these worship centers, I will really come back to what I said. We need to focus so much into securing the lands of these institutions, but also have better boundaries demarcated. And once that is done, it is one thing that will be a plus to ensure that the institutions are safe. But also for the institutions to thrive and also progress further with the worship things and also preaching and so on. As we deliver messages in the churches, let's talk about peace. Let's not really talk about these issues of sentiments and so on. There are sometimes the leaders in these churches and mosques, what they preach is really not really the right thing. How do you convince a Christian or a Muslim to believe in what you are saying. One of this is
what you're doing is
by
contrary.
showing it.
What you're doing is contrary to what
so
you're
if you are rallying youths, the young people, you are using their energy to do wrong things, that is bad. I would implore that really we focus so much into development issues, and if that issue in some of these churches and mosques is really defeating some of you people, please forward. You have people ahead of you. Let's follow the hierarchy and really ensure that when we are resolving the issues, let's come to the masses and have a dialogue. Join the dialogue with the people. Let's not resolve issues at the offices and so that, hey, we have forgiven each other. You go there and greet your colleague and say the issue of that conflict has ended. Yet, the conflict is between the masses. It's not between you people fighting up here. Because you sent wrong messages to the masses, that's one thing.
In other words, if the elephants are fighting, it is the grass to suffer. So
the grass to suffer, but still,
the sheep who are
remember that grass that has suffered. There are also the roots will still mushroom.
That is
and
true.
will come up with that reason where maybe we'll come up with that idea that we suffered because of this issue.
Okay,
so
Frederick,
as we go for the break, let me conclude with this and say that religious institutions, let's not really so much use the law so much into the issues of religion, because people will not trust us so many times. Looking at the issues of overusing the police to come and resolve our conflicts will not yield so much.
With that, putting that issue of insecurity among worship centers aside, we are going to be running for a short commercial break, and when we return back, we shall be able to pick up the discussion from there. Remember, this is the KOKOLIRIKO live show. In case you're just joining us right now, you're most welcome aboard. For now, let's first take a short commercial break. When we return back, we shall be picking up the discussion from there. Thank you.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes Inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short break, and we are back with the KOKOLIRIKO live show. And in case you're just joining us right now, you are most welcome aboard. For those of you who are watching us from the Aluru sub-region, I want to say Afayo Matek, and those of you watching us from Adiland, I also want to say Awadifo. And then those who are watching us from with the Cholis and Lango sub-regions, I also want to say Afematek as well. And for those of you in the central and other parts of the world, I want to also say good morning, and you're most welcome to the KOKOLIRIKO live show. And this is the show that begins the TV every morning from 7 to 9 a.m. And usually what we do is we discuss and give you updates on some of the issues that are happening in and around the world. So I think that is how far we have been going. We have been discussing issues that affect us locally here, and we are still going up. And we are now heading to politics and economic transformation. And up to now, Frederick, the PDM has not been launched in Arua City, and one of the reasons this has been attributed to is the fact that most of the people have not been registered. And just the other day, I was attending one of the engagements in Dadamu, and one issue that was raised forward was the issue of the PDMIS. The PDMIS is the Parish Development Model, I think, system. PDMIS, yes. This is the online initiative of registering the masses. Yeah. It was an initiative that was developed by the Ministry of ICT, and this is supposed to be not only be used in PDM, but it's supposed to be also be used in other formats. So I think the PDMIS is delaying the registration of the masses within this region here.
Maybe if you can stress further about this
PDMIS. The one issue that was raised concerning the PDMIS is that the network system in this region, and this is quite common in Ivo division, whereby the issue was coming from. I think they have raised, this people raised an important issue of the network, that the network is not supplementing them enough, and some of the people also are paying money in terms of registering, so they have to work paperwork, they have to do paperwork, which is also delaying back the responses, and some of the information that the people gave do not match their details. So I think that is one issue that was also raised. That is why maybe as far as the Arua City is concerned, we have not witnessed the issue of PDM launch. And now that goes back to the question I want to bring on board concerning the issue now. Why is it that the issues of network cannot be solved? And one issue that this also raised, the data denominator, sometimes the people who take the data, who are supposed to be taking the data entrance, sometimes also delay. Once they got these masses, what they do is, after working for a short period of time, they also disappear. Remember, this system is online. Some of the people also express the challenge that the masses do not know how to write their names. Literacy among the masses sometimes also delaying the response, because for somebody who would be able to write his name, you will just find it very easy and insert that data. So I think this is one issue that we are still witnessing, because in the economic transformation bill, we are supposed to be ensuring that the masses move out of poverty, and now we are witnessing the PDM up to now is not launched. And what does this mean to the masses who are eagerly waiting for this money?
I think there are a lot of things to do with technology transformation. If you look at, it's not only PDM. We've seen challenges in national registrations, the NIRA things. We are all aware that this technology, when it came in Uganda, there are so many people who had undergone the IT trainings. But also looking at capturing data needs a lot of time. There are so many districts that have done it, but for Arua City, the issue that spoiled the launch, the commencement, the takeoff of PDM has so much been things to do with politics of this city, where sometimes somebody says, these are my voters, these are my voters. So those things really make the technocrats not to take on with some of these things, because if ideal, I'm the person responsible to do the work for this kind of thing, and it is you coming in and saying it is the contrary, what I'm doing is wrong and so on, so I can easily back off. So that delayed a lot. But also looking at the issues of the data entrance, so many people have not been having these gadgets. Most of them are using their personal smartphones. Where you charge the phone is sometimes difficult, but also looking at some parts of this city that are too remote in terms of accessing infrastructure. Talk about the internet, talk about the issues to do with also people's resilience to work. People are not ready to work for long. Sometimes people go and say, go to this village and send for me the details. So those are some of the issues around there. But also, are these people really well trained to do the work? That is one thing we need to answer ourselves. But also, talk about the PDM itself. People are talking about the issues of the financial aspect. How about the mindset change? How about the other aspects of the PDM? The pillars. People are focusing so much on to the issues of money. People have not, most of the locals who are to benefit from this have not been oriented. Even in the city here, I've not seen any engagement where they are educating people about PDM, apart from a few people who talk about it in different forums that we have now PDM, our parishes are going to receive this much, millions, this kind of millions, people mention them, but are we preparing the people to receive the monies? Yes. That is something that is still raw in the city here.
Yes, Patrick, just like to add on what you're saying, you're actually right, I want to agree with you. Why am I saying this? You see some of the investments, Frederick, now these people are going to be receiving money that is 1 million. Remember, this 1 million comes at a time that is delayed, and you know 1 million and the projects that these people are writing for sometimes do not match the investments they want to put forward. Somebody is putting out a project that you will see is not even matching the money. So I think there's still that bit that is lacking, and the masses need to be trained when it comes to this issue of the disbursement of the funds, because if they are not done that way, I believe some of these projects are bound to fail. The PDM may not yield its intended purpose, just like some of the government other projects that failed. So I think the government needs to come out clearly to first also stipulate and explain to the masses what this PDM funds is all about, what they are supposed to be doing. And remember, Frederick, now the funds are delaying, the delayed funds, and then we are witnessing we are living in a country that whereby prices keep on fluctuating. What does this actually mean to the people who have drawn their projects? Could it mean that these people are also going to be going back to maybe the drawing board, and when the funds, when these monies have escalated, could it be that these people will have to also go back to drawing boards and make amendments in terms of their proposals? Do you think that this could not also affect and hamper the PDM initiative in one way or the other? Because this money is delaying, and up to now, most of the people have not actually received this money, and the PDM official has not been launched, and we are still witnessing the registration process. What do you think this will be able to maybe affect the masses at the end of the day?
First, I'm not surprised to make a statement that the PDM in Arua City may not really achieve its target. One of the reasons is just like I was stressed, much as this being a city that is painted green, majority of the areas are for farming. Many of the people who may succeed in getting the money will not really be able to refund it in time because of the issues to do with the planning, the issues to do with the projects that they have. Apart from those who may venture into businesses, okay? Apart from those who may venture into businesses. So releasing these monies to the people who are releasing them should be critical, and they really evaluate who is going to benefit from this kind of fund. We have seen so many people saying, the list of my mobilizers is here, fix them. The list of my, maybe talk about agents is here, fix them. So those are things we need to look at very, very critically. That's where I was saying the political interference should be minimal when we are dealing with issues to do with the government projects, to avoid this kind of issues to do with the losses. We remember during Imyoga, the same thing happened, and it gave a lot of hard time up to now. Some of the groups are not really vibrant, they are not active, so they are dormant. What does it mean? That means people ate the monies, and there's been no fruit about them. We have seen so many presidential initiatives talk about when I went to I was moving to Sheraton Hotel. I reached a street called the Lumumba Avenue Road, where I saw a very big building painted the presidential initiative for banana something there. And
but was there
up to now, I'm still wondering what that initiative really achieved so much in the country. That's one thing we need to know. Most of these presidential initiatives are brought, but people politicize most of these projects, and that's why we're not getting monies from them. Once these kind of projects come, let's really focus so much into how we're going to really earn from them. One of the key issues in the city here that I show is because of the politics kind of things that come in. We show the focal person resigned. Up to now, I think there's no substantive person who is there as a focal person apart from the town clerk. So these are the things we need to really talk so much about, and that has caused a lot of delays in fast tracking the processes.
Just to add on what you're saying, some of the
things.
masses are actually also complaining that some of these offices have not been friendly to them. Some of these offices are blocking and making work hard for them, and that issue was actually brought also in the floor of council.
That comes to a town clerk taking charge of such kind of things, because the town clerk ideally sits in the office. He's not supposed to move to the masses, to mobilize masses himself. So if the focal person resigned and the town clerk is still the one handling the things, you'll continue to see that kind of delays coming up. And also these issues of people complaining about harsh conditions in accessing services of maybe advice from the focal persons will continue to arise, because a town clerk ideally receives one person in a time to talk about. Maybe if somebody wants to be attended to in his office, it is only him and the person. So you will not go like a joint group to an office like that. That kind of challenge will continue to arise. So,
all right, as we are running out of time, let's now put the issue of economic transformation aside. Let's head into politics, whereby a lot is happening, quite interesting things are happening, and some of the political parties already restructuring ahead of 2026. And for the NUP, that is National Union Platform, and yesterday they are still traversing Western Uganda, whereby they are restructuring ahead of 2026. And FDC is also doing something, and the other parties, I believe, are also doing the same. Frederick, what do you make of the timing? Could we say that it is now time? Could we be seeing elections coming closer? What does this mean, as parties are really doing a lot when it comes to issues of politics and restructuring ahead of 2026? We are in 2023 still, and we are coming to the end of the year. We are just remaining with 4 months. I should say today is 1st of September. And that means that we are remaining with about 100 something days, just a few days to the end of the year. What does this mean? Because after 2023, we shall be heading into 2024. And usually we start seeing serious business into politics scene that is around 2025 with the primary elections. Do you want to say that a lot is now happening? Does it mean that what the parties are doing is quite interesting? What do you make of this as parties look to be more serious restructuring ahead of 2026?
They are serious because there are so many people who are resigning from positions that were given, maybe awarded, or maybe they were nominated in, especially at regional levels and also districts. We have seen people opting to move away from some of these political parties and trying to join others. We have seen many unveiling new people coming in. I don't know if that is what they are painting to show that they are attracting more people in their political parties, or they are just trying to build around. I may not confirm the particulars, but that is something that is happening now silently in these political parties, but also strategizing to ensure that political parties still remain vibrant and also establish structures. These moves are to confirm whether you are still with my party. So I'm not saying that really it is bad, but it's okay for them to start early. We all know Uganda like that. Politics after the elections, another politics starts. Okay, another politics starts, which is not recognized by Electoral Commission. It moves on, reaching the mid of the service time, and when things are becoming dry and so on, politics disappears. Now when we are left with the 1.5 years or 2 years to come, another politics starts. So this is a routine thing that has been there year in, year out, and it is quite good that really political parties are trying to revive their structures and also look at how strong or weak they are. They are able to identify them. This is the time they should be identifying their weak points and why they are being able to get small or big votes, a big number of votes in such an area. Those are ways they should be able to now build strong network to ensure that they go further. But also for Forum for Democratic Change, I'm meant to understand that in Westnile region today they are going to be having the swearing-in exercise for the leaders and also at constituent levels and also districts plus sub-counties. This will be by this morning. From 9, they will be in Moyo district, and also for those in this other side of that is for North Westnile region, they will be in Moyo district at Moyo multipurpose hall if the venue has not changed. For Westnile region, sub-region, which is having 9 districts, this will be here in Arua City at cafeteria. That's the place that I've mentioned, and I hope all these leaders that have been in the interim and also those that have been elected will be confirmed today by taking their oath to serve the party. But also one of the issues that they have already emphasized so much is the issue of gender equality in these leadership structures, to ensure mobilization is done and also the affirmative actions are seen, the youth be on board, the women, the persons with disability, talk about the elderly and those others who can fit anywhere. So that is one thing I've seen with the FDC in this region that they are now trying to do. We are yet to see who will be coming from the national headquarters to do this, and we will really need to see whether they will be able to bring us a good message in relation to the fracas that they have been having at the party headquarters and also in the national executive meetings that we have seen all around throughout last month, whether they have been able to come to consensus. This is one point we'll be stressing them to really answer in that point of view.
Okay,
yes.
That is Frederick concerning the issue of politics has talked exhaustively, and I know you must have understood what he has been explaining, and politics is really playing its part. We have seen this happening where we cannot deny this. We are living in a country where politics is currently going on. We cannot hide that. We have seen this even to the politicians who are in power. We have seen them working so hard at this time, and that is still politics playing its part. And for those who are also with interests of aspiring, we have also seen them taking their part. So I think we are living in a time that politics is now taking its course. Frederick, recently we did see the coup in Gabon, and now people are asking what next. Yesterday we did see huge sums of money in houses of the fallen president who was thrown. We saw a lot of money, dollars and euros in the house. Just in 1 minute, because we are running out of time, I wanted to put something, if you have anything in regards to that. What do you think of African leaders having such huge monies? And remember, people are complaining of poverty, but now somebody has all that huge amounts of money in the house. Just in 1 minute, Frederick, as we run out of time, in fact 30 seconds, I'm giving 30 seconds, so that we pave way for Fete Emmanuel to come with the Lubarati news. I can see the team is getting set, and they're also willing to give you what is happening in the world of news. So I think in just 30 seconds, if you can put your last words, and we summarize the discussion here today.
That means a lot. If you are able to see that money, that means a lot. One, the issue of really financing politics, and also people taking advantage of the poor is really a key thing that has continued to really affect the politics and the democracy of countries in Africa. One thing we want to stress so much is how does the central banks, how do they really manage these kind of things? Because we have seen a lot of money flowing at the time of elections, at the time of campaigns. People are always maybe given monies and so on. This affects really the quality of debate that we have in these countries, and that's why Africa is not developing, by the way. And we really need to fight that to a logical conclusion, to ensure that really central banks in these countries in Africa really are able to do the rightful things by really, first of all, controlling the outflow of money and also inflow. Two, we have the international finance regulations that are there. So these kind of things, we really don't need to see them to happen in between our leaders. Lastly, to avoid these issues of coups that we have in common here in Africa, let's really buy the idea from the head of state of Uganda that he has ever preached, that really let all the nations come together and focus on developing the countries. Because there are some countries where the leaders are not down to the people. That's why people really take those decisions of saying, let's overthrow him and we take over. Because ideally we don't expect.
We are running out of time with that.
Yes, we don't expect
also the politicians. Politicians, if you give them 1 minute, they take 5. Let me not talk. You are talking
okay, let me appreciate you for that.
With that, we come to the end of KOKOLIRIKO Live today. And to remember, today was the first. Today is the first, actually, the first day of in the month of September, and it's the last edition of the KOKOLIRIKO for this week. So from me to you, I want to wish you a good day as we pave way for the Liberating News. Fete Emmanuel is already here and the team. So from me to you, it's a goodbye. Let's get up again till Monday.